is my favorite time before a WWE PLE/pay-per-view because the Elimination Chamber 2025 is this weekend, and I've got your predictions and they're utterly ridiculous. And we start with Richie, who proves this point because he says Logan Paul wins, stacking both CM Punk and John Cena to pin them in the end. And I just want to say, Richie, while I do appreciate you sending me a message and you have the Pep Guardiola profile picture, which is very strange, that's the worst idea. And I'm getting lots of messages recently with people saying, Simon, why don't you like Logan Paul? Perfectly happy with Logan Paul being in the WWE and perfectly happy with whatever WWE wants to do with him. But I can also tell you that he rubs me the wrong way, and that's about that. I don't want this to happen, and I don't think it will. And we move on to I Just Yeeted Myself. And again, he has a Jey Uso profile picture. We finally find out who attacked Jade Cargill when Naomi gets a microphone and says, I did it for Bianca. That's a Rikishi reference from the year 2000, which was 25 years ago. But I do think we are probably heading into the whole Naomi returning. And I did think it was Naomi for a long time. I'm starting to think it was Bianca Belair, which I think is crazy, because telling Bianca Belair heel, I think, is a choice, but you might as well try, right? It's wrestling. You should throw things at the wall and then you can always recover afterwards, should you so wish. Do I think we're going to do it at the Elimination Chamber? I don't think so, just because we've got all this stuff with The Rock, but eventually we have to find out who tried to kill Jade, because don't forget, it did happen in 1942 and everybody investigating is the world's worst detectives. Janui carries on the nonsense because he says Repo Man returns and takes out John Cena before the match leading to Cena versus Repo Man at WrestleMania. Now, as always, I'd be very excited about this, and the reason I wanted to throw this one in here is, of course, Demolition now back on good terms with WWE. Sounds like they could be inducted at the Hall of Fame, which means we may get a Repo Man reference. Let's face it, given that we're not going to get much more than that, I will take it. Also, thank you, Janui. Probably not pronouncing your name right at all. That made me laugh out loud. And if you've never watched my content before and you're thinking, why the flub is he talking about Repo Man? Or you may be so young, you're like, who the hell is Repo Man to begin with? Make sure you Google him right now. He is the greatest character in professional wrestling history, and I'm not kidding. Now we get on to some serious ones. We have Fire, which I'm sure is your real name, who says Bianca wins. Absolutely could happen. Tiffany Stratton gets the pin. Yes, I think that's probably true, because those two got flattened. Although you could have Trish Stratus win, and Nia Jax beats her at WrestleMania. I kind of think that one is just there for fun. Kevin Owens squashes Sami Zayn and tries to pile drive him before Randy Orton makes the save. I don't think that should be a squash match. I think you would upset people. But I do think Randy Orton will return at the Elimination Chamber. It's just easy, right? Because you can do it either way. Sami Zayn wins and Kevin Owens goes crazy. He gets his revenge and Randy saves him. Or Kevin Owens wins, he's going to kill Sami Zayn, and you do it vice versa. But yes, I will give you the stamp of approval on that one. Not that you need it. Randy Orton will indeed turn at the Elimination Chamber. You've also got Roman Reigns comes back and takes out CM Punk and Seth Rollins, allowing Cena to win. And you could do that. We have seen a lot. If you go through Elimination Chambers, we did it recently. I ranked my 10 best ones. You will find a lot of nonsense and a lot of shenanigans in Elimination Chamber matches. They are more like Royal Rumbles than they are Hell in a Cells, though Hell in a Cells have kind of been compromised as well. But WWE is not adverse to doing nut stuff in it. Don't forget, the Elimination Chamber is now 23 years old, should you wish to feel old. It's almost a quarter of a century old. How the hell did that happen? I just think if Roman's going to be there, you advertise it. I don't think you need to do it on that show either. I think that'd be overkill. But then again, it does set up that triple threat match, and we have to do something there. Although you could also do it that CM Punk and Seth Rollins take each other out. I'm not talking to dinner. And in terms of the real main event, The Rock and Cody having a chat, it's the most WWE thing of all time. Cody rejects The Rock, but The Rock comes out after John Cena wins the chamber, and then Cena or Cody can turn heel at WrestleMania, where I think whoever joins The Rock has to turn heel. The final boss character, even though Dwayne Johnson does jump back and forth, is supposed to be a bad guy. And also, I just think the fans would buy it that way. I do like the idea of that. Lots of people, so many people said John Cena joins The Rock, John Cena joins The Rock. I mean, it all depends on what John Cena wants to do. You can argue it both ways, you really can. Should we do the heel turn just for the sake of doing it because we know the end is nigh? Or should we make sure he's been a proverbial babyface from day one and we don't want to tarnish that? It's not as big as this, but it's like the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Do you break it? Do you not break it? There's pros and cons either way. Ultimately, as long as I'm enjoying my wrestling TV, who cares? And I'd have to assume, well, I don't see John Cena turning heel just because I think John Cena winning his 17th title in December is going to make you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum, and that seems to be John Cena's deal. I am intrigued by it, though, but if somebody put a gun to my head, which there's no need to do, I talk about wrestling all the time, I think if push came to shove, I'd say that you turn Cody heel before Cena, but that's also dumb, because Cody Rhodes is over like Rover. Moving on to Paul Wormsley, who's the first real person we've had so far, and says Cody surprises everyone and says yes to The Rock, citing the constant pressure he is under as champ and turning heel. John Cena wins the chamber to set up Cena Cody at Mania, also allows for future stories Cody can tell with Punk and Roman. I mean, there's a lot of logic to that, and there's a lot of sense to it, and turning Cody Rhodes heel before you need to turn him heel, it does show that you're thinking outside the box, you're being proactive and not reactive, because eventually it will die off the cheers. Nobody has ever been able to survive that, not even Steve Austin. That's why he turned heel at WrestleMania 17, because they did see, I mean, it wasn't as big as they thought at the time, but they saw the numbers diminish a little bit, and then turning him heel actually ruined everything, which could be a reason. I mean, it's why he never did it to John Cena, because everybody remembered WrestleMania 2001, WrestleMania 17, why am I calling that X7? So, but it is a different time. WWE, the initials sell more than any one person other than maybe The Rock. I don't think it's totally out of left field, given where this story has come from. There was a new report recently, this actually isn't a complete like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, and that only a select few knew that The Rock was going to do this. I don't know how much I believe that, but I enjoy the madness, and I enjoy the chaos. The only thing I will pick you up on, Paul, is I think you can do the CM Punk and Roman Reigns stuff regardless. You could argue you don't need to go back to Roman Cody versus done it a lot. CM Punk and Cody have already kind of fallen out. And really, out of those two people, I think CM Punk should be the guy to turn heel. Because CM Punk has such an edge to him, not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW. But then Cody does too. But I mean, no one does CM Punk as well as CM Punk. So I kind of feel like the more stereotypical, you know, The Rock helps CM Punk, and then CM Punk's come to champion and we screw over Cody Rhodes. But then CM Punk, The Rock's going to go away. I don't know. It's just a wonderful roller coaster. But there is something to this. And I think ultimately, if you told me that a week ago, I would have said you were nuts. But now I just say like you're making a good guess. Carl Robinson, not that Carl Robinson, says Logan Paul to be the last one eliminated in the men's chamber match. So you've not said that with hyperbole. You mean it. You think they may actually leave him till last. I think it really should be John Cena and CM Punk in there at the end. I mean, depending on what we're going to do with faces and heels, I don't necessarily think they are going to have a one-on-one match anywhere else. And I think you can take the last 10 minutes and let them have their goodbye match with each other. And that would be awesome. But again, we have a SummerSlam, we have a Survivor Series, we do have his last show. We'll have a bunch of Raws you could probably do it on. But maybe you do it here just because you're not 100% sure what you are going to be able to do over the next 10 months. But it could happen. Of course it could. Logan Paul is in that chamber for a reason. That's why I keep telling people this. It's not for fun. I mean, I'm sure it's to get some clout, but I have a storyline reason for him too, which probably does tie into WrestleMania. That's why we're all scared. Maybe it's Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I know we've done it before. Doesn't mean we're not going to do it again. And ain't nobody thinking of that right now. C-Mask has give me everything. C-Mask, I appreciate it. Bianca wins the women's chamber. A lot of people are thinking this now. Because, of course, when I did my predictions on Monday, that was before Raw, with the flub I was thinking. And Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez had that awesome tag team match. So they should focus on the tag team wrestling. Those belts are better than the men's ones at the moment. And he has been flipping between Cena and Punk for like a month. You and me both, bro. And I think whoever wins plays a key role in the Cody X Rock story. Yes, I think you're right. I think that's where the story has moved. It sounds like it was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for a long old time, once The Rock was out of play, but now The Rock is back in play, but not as a wrestler. Throw everything out with the bathwater. In this very moment, I'm going to go with John Cena, but I'll probably be changing by Saturday, lol. Dude, we are on the same page. Again, I did predict Cena on Monday, and then I flip-flopped to CM Punk, and then I was like, well, maybe you can do this, and maybe you can do that. But yes, once again, I think it will be John Cena or CM Punk, and The Rock is going to have to be jabbed in there anyway. It could still be Roman Reigns versus The Rock. That's the other scenario that I've seen play out that actually has no connection to the chamber whatsoever. John Cena just wins, and the reason Cody is able to avoid being with The Rock is because Roman Reigns comes out. It's like, what are you doing, you weird cousin, brother, family man? I'm going to whoop your ass, and you do that on the Saturday. And then you could just do CM Punk versus Seth Rollins without Roman Reigns. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. They are very good. I still kind of feel like it would need a stipulation or a championship, which we're not going to do. But that, I mean, it wouldn't surprise you, right? You may be going, it's a lame idea. I totally understand that. But it's not as wild as once again it would have been back in January. The truth is, I have absolutely no idea. Kingslayer says Jade Cargill returns and hits the Mark Henry cage spot, ripping the door open to take out her attacker. Don't mind that at all. Ties into the shenanigans we've already talked about. Would monster up Jade Cargill, which I don't mind. Is Jade Cargill going to be there? My only worry about bringing Jade Cargill back here, but I guess it all depends on the story. But you can have all the stuff with The Rock, you can have all the stuff at the end of the men's. I think Randy Orton's going to return. You don't ever want to do one too many because somebody will get lost in the shuffle. That always happens. There's only so many headlines you can tell. well, but it's also pretty good. Once again, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm also 50-50. But if she does come back, she should do that. She should rip the door off its hinges. Cody Davis says, I have a fun theory that could potentially happen, but probably won't happen. That's good confidence there, my friend. I know what you're talking about. Everybody is expecting Randy to interfere with Kevin Owens and Sami, but what if he is not returning in that match? But during the Chamber match, he cost Cena the Chamber match, setting them up for WrestleMania. A lot of people want Randy Orton versus John Cena. I am not one of them. Don't mean that as any disrespect to either of those wrestlers. They're all time, they're legends, they're Hall of Famers. I saw that a lot in 2013 or 12, whenever the flub it was, and it's just not a match I'm inching for today. I do agree if you are going to do it at WrestleMania, it would be perfectly cool. It would actually be better if the title was on the line, because Randy Orton has 15, 16 world titles as well. He's right up there. Well, it can't be 16, because people would be talking about him. But I do think any interactions they have will be like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They pass each other, they look at each other. But maybe they do, and there'll be loads of people out there that would go nostalgic crazy for that. It would be a bit like Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. I understand they were bigger stars of their time, but if you grew up during the Ruthless Aggression era, Randy Orton and John Cena were your guys, so you probably would flip the lid. I don't think he needs to come back during the Elimination Chamber, just because you'd have a story beat there. You'd have a bit of a plot twist, a plot hole, I should say, because quite rightfully fans would be like, why are you ignoring Kevin Owens? Randy Orton, he tried to kill you. So we could get to John Cena versus Randy Orton, but I think you need to wrap up the Kevin Owens stuff first. Tom Zambano says, here's an odd one. I think Becky Lynch has a better chance at winning the Chamber than Naomi. I like Naomi, but there's non-zero chance she's attacked on Friday to further the Jade storyline and gets replaced. I think it means there's a little bit of a chance. You could do that. Again, we do have SmackDown to go with. I don't think it should be Becky Lynch, because I just think if you are holding off Becky Lynch, you should either hold her off for the build to WrestleMania, which officially starts on Monday because there's no more pay-per-views in the way, or just hold her off until the Raw after WrestleMania and kickstart off the new season of WWE with a massive star. So I think Naomi will be in the Chamber. I think Naomi will have a huge role in the Chamber. And yes, I still think Naomi's going to turn heel. I think they're over-teasing it to make us try and pick a different direction, but then it's going to be Naomi. Problem is, a lot of people have some really good Bianca Belair thoughts now. I don't know, man. Maybe Jade Cargill attacked herself, and she's going to institute the first ever individual unique heel turn. I don't know what that means. Matt the Painter, I hope he's like a plumber or something, that would be fun, says everybody will be unhappy as their imagined storyline doesn't happen as they want, and it's everybody's fault. Are you making a fan's prediction? Well, absolutely that will happen. That happens on every show, and then people will come yell at me going, Simon, you never say anything negative, because they don't watch my videos, and they just watch what I post on social media. I don't post the stuff I don't like on social media. What a ridiculous way to live your life. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but there's enough whining and complaining. I focus on the stuff I do like, and again, if you watch my videos here on What Culture Wrestling, make sure you subscribe all round. There are some stuff I don't like, and I talk about it because it's not a big deal. You can say I don't like wrestler A or I don't like storyline B. It doesn't matter, man, as long as you are polite and respectful. Not everything has to become a personal attack. I'm not talking to you, Matt. I'm talking to the crazies out there, also known as the grifters. Greg K says Cena wins. Boom. There it is. John Cena going to WrestleMania. CM Punk cashes in his favor with Paul Heyman and is put into the main event at WrestleMania, making a triple threat between Punk, Cody, and Cena. Dude, it's a great idea. Somebody else pitched this the other day. Maybe I just saw it on a random thread, I don't know. And I was like, that does sound pretty good. Like, it does. So it kind of makes the question mark over The Rock, but I suppose the Paul Heyman favor could also tie into The Rock, because of course Paul Heyman and The Rock have Paul Heyman can't just get CM Punk a title match, be like, what kind of power do you have? But Paul Heyman is buddies with The Rock, or at least he used to be, given thanks to the bloodline. It's a little bit tenuous given stuff that's happened with Solo Sikoa, but you could be like, yes, CM Punk went to Paul Heyman and said, look, cash in your favor, I want a title shot, I want my main event at WrestleMania, and then Paul Heyman goes to The Rock and says, oh, hi, you're on the board, and The Rock makes it happen because CM Punk and The Rock become buddies. It's pretty good. We talked about it yesterday on the Raw Hot Takes when I sort of thought about the idea of CM Punk and Rock being together. I do like it. And of course, you can do Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. That is always going to be worthy of WrestleMania matches, 11 years in the making. We kind of teased it at the end of WrestleMania 40. It's not a bad idea, Greg. In fact, I think it's pretty damn good. Sid Fishy says, Drew wins. Drew wins? I just said it out loud. I was like, damn. Sides with The Rock, shaves his beard, and starts wearing suits, and becomes the chosen one again, which I think was 2010, so that's interesting. Or The Rock's corporate champion. At some point, Drew could always go away for a while, grow the beard back, dye his hair black, and come back to his old music like nothing happened. I mean, scratch that last bit. That's Vince McMahon, WWE. I don't want that. I mean, it would be pretty good for Drew. There was apparently some rumblings. He wasn't happy with his WrestleMania idea. idea. And you did have the video of The Rock granting Drew McIntyre his contract, whatever it was. Granting is not the right word at all. It does suit Drew McIntyre. It allows him to do a Dominic Mysterio and go heel when he's already a heel. And those two together does sound pretty good. You know what? I don't hate it. I don't think it is going to happen. I think it's a wild card. But once again, because of recent events, it's not totally out of left field. It is a really good idea. And fair play to you, Sid Fishy. I've not actually had anybody else predict that, so more power to you. Andrea says, Little Jimmy returns and helps his childhood hero John Cena win, and nobody will be able to see either of them. You know what? We could do that too. It would be goofy wrestling for life. I'm still hoping somewhere in my world that we get an R-Truth serious, not a serious run, but just some kind of run with R-Truth where we can say goodbye to him properly. I feel like I was the only person to enjoy that tag team match on last week's SmackDown. Again, tying into earlier thoughts, I don't necessarily like The Miz and Carmelo Hayes becoming a tag team. I don't think we need to do that. But R-Truth tagging in The Miz by accident, doing his own 3 count. The man is a national treasure and must be protected at all costs. The meat movement, which I believe is our last one. Yes, it is. I mean, the meat movement. He's got the meat in his name as well. What a hero. Cody does not sell his soul to The Rock. It's an amazing sentence, because then he'd have nowhere to keep his adrenaline. Whoa, good point. As payback, Rock beats Cody down and forces him to defend the title in the chamber, and Cody loses to Punk. So we put Cody Rhodes in the chamber. Who comes out of the chamber? I mean, that's an interesting one. We changed it to no. I think we're going to change the title before WrestleMania if I'm getting at that. I can see The Rock beating Cody down, and I can then see a CM Punk winning the chamber, and The Rock comes out and they hug or do some nonsense. But then again, you don't need to do that there. You can elongate it a little bit because there's other parts of the story we need to put in there. So I'll take Cody not selling his soul to The Rock, yes, and The Rock beating down Cody, yes. But forcing to defend the title in the chamber, again, you have to have an extra pod. I think I may have misread that meat movement, so I do apologize. But I think what this has proven is that anything is on the table, genuinely. Just not Logan Paul winning anything, but otherwise, anything's on the table. And we haven't even talked about Damian Priest. I mean, I think Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest will take each other out. I think that's why we did it in the Royal Rumble. I do think WWE looks that far forward. And I imagine that CM Punk must be able to get his revenge on Logan Paul. And then Seth Rollins and CM Punk get into it. But then how does John Cena do it again? Because if CM Punk and thinking of Bob are taking each other out, it could end with Logan Paul versus John Cena. I mean, that one guy that said he'd be in there at the end. Yes, I can see John Cena hitting the AA and pinning Logan Paul. Is a feel-good moment. You then go, oh my gosh, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. It is a mega match. Let's forget all the other nonsense shenanigans we're talking about. The fact we could get at main event of 41, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title, and John Cena going for his 17th championship. It's another one. If I had told you that even 6 months ago, you would have spat in my face. But like, don't you talk this disgusting language to me. And while I would have been offended, I would have understood you too. So I don't really understand some of the negativity going into this match or WrestleMania, even if some of the matches aren't what you want. If that's what we're getting night 2 in the main event, I ain't going to complain. And as always, I appreciate you sending me these crazy predictions, some of which were actually really good. And there's only one way to find out, and that's to sit down and watch it this weekend. And of course, make sure you leave me even more predictions in the comments below, because if you say something crazy and you get it right, you'll be the winner of life. Nobody ever take that away from you. You can get my proper predictions on the screen now. They ain't great, but I do my best. Otherwise, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Interact with the video as much as possible. Go to grillandmind.com/Simon. You could Simon get 10% off everything on there and 30% off Jungle Juice pre-workout. Best pre-workout in the game. Come follow me on social media at SimonMiller316, Simon Miller on TikTok. No, Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo. And of course, ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. But ultimately, enjoy the build. Enjoy WrestleMania. Enjoy every single day, because it's all that we have, my buddies. See you soon.